on. You know what? We're gonna have to do that over again. I had us both muted.
Okay.
I just realized it. All right, so we're back, and my name's Thomas Dimitrovich with Eden, and we are here talking about the Eastern Section meeting. So we're going to start this over, Jim. I can't believe it, but anyway, we were there for I don't know how many minutes. Welcome to the announcement of the Eastern Section meeting, and if you've not known this yet, but the Eastern Section is going to be live towards the end of the month, and Jim Rogers is going to be talking about photovoltaic installations and energy sources. So what we're going to do in this session is let Jim give you a little overview of what his session is going to be about and why you need to sign up for the Eastern Section meeting this month, towards the end of the month. So Jim, again, so sorry about that. I had us both on mute and I just realized it. Thank God I caught it before we were done. But please give your background a little bit and talk a little bit about what you're going to be talking about during your session.
All right. Well, thank you, Tom.
Sure thing.
It's a pleasure working with you. So again, my name is Jim Rogers, and I represent IAEI as the chair on Code Making Panel 4. This is my second cycle as chair. I've been on Code Making Panel 4 since approximately 2000. And prior to that, I was fortunate enough to be the alternate to Andy Cartel on Code Making Panel 12. So been in the code making process for quite a few years. I'm going to be discussing because CMP4 deals with these issues, and I'm going to be discussing PV installations and energy storage. Energy storage is becoming very, very important all across the country, and it's helping with things that I'm not going to get into right now, but utility grids have to worry about things such as solar saturation, and what that means is if you have too much PV entering the utility grid, and for some reason it goes dark because a cloud comes over or whatever, and a lot of the PV drops out, utility company has to be able to bridge the gap. And energy storage is one of the ways that they can do that. So it's becoming more and more important. I'm excited that the Eastern Section meeting is going to be digital. I am the secretary to the Eastern Section, and working with the president, it's my responsibility to make sure that our meetings go forward. And I was dismayed that we weren't going to be able to have a meeting this year. But now, with the help of Tom, and I want to thank Tom and Eaton for their support and help, we are going to have a digital meeting with digital training sessions. And then on Saturday, we're going to be able to have, separate from this, we're going to be able to have a general membership meeting where the members will be able to hold their annual meeting as required by our bylaws. So it's exciting that we're going to, in this COVID-19 world, we're going to be able to still have an Eastern Section meeting.
Yeah, I think you guys have been doing a great job out on what is it? It's the Jack Lyons has been doing some educational programs and whatnot for which section of the IAEI is that?
He's the Western Mass chapter
Yeah.
of IAEI, Western Mass chapter of the Eastern Section, and that's the area that they cover, Western Massachusetts.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I know they've been doing a lot of programs, but you're right, Gino. COVID has changed a lot this year for many of us. I know I'm usually on the road 85-90% of the time. I'm usually in the air or in some hotel, especially this time of year because we've got all the section meetings going on. But we still managed to keep education going, which I think is critical, especially in our industry from an electrical safety perspective. So I compliment you guys in the programs that you guys have been doing out there with Jack and crew and all that good stuff. And we've got a great lineup for the Eastern Section. So you're covering PV. Let's talk about the other programs we've got going on. We've got PV. We've got grounding, right, with Joe Andre and
Paul Dabrowski.
Paul Dabrowski, Dr. Yes.
Yep.
I lovingly call him Dr. Dabrowski. And then let's just what other things
We got Fred Hartwell doing conductor ampacity. You're not going to want to miss that. That's going to be very good.
Yeah. Now Fred has an extensive background. I mean, he's the editor of what book is that?
Electrician's Handbook.
The Electrician's Handbook. So we have I mean, so you got Fred Hartwell, you've got Paul Dabrowski, you've got Joe Andre, Still Tube Institute. we're going to have the NEMA guys doing something on electric vehicle charging.
Yeah, Jack is doing that. Yep.
Yep. So Jack is doing electric vehicle charging. What else?
I don't have the whole list in
I'm
front
looking
of
at
me.
it right now. I'm just. All right. Oh, we got Michael Hofkin, who's going to be talking about Ask the Inspector, and I think I've seen a portion or versions of his presentation. That's usually going to be an exciting one.
Yep.
Yep. And then Jeff Simpson is going to do Chapter 4 highlights of changes. So I'm assuming that's NEC 2020 code changes, right?
2020 NEC, yes.
Excellent, excellent. So we ought to have a really good lineup. And what I really love about the content of the Eastern section is it complements what's going on in the Western section as well. So, it's not like anything's being duplicated. I don't care what section meeting or what IAEI meeting you're going to. These types of presentations, you're going to be covering energy storage, PV, which is a hot topic across the country and globally. And then we're going to have some other really big hitters from a technical expertise perspective to present. I'm looking forward to the Ampacity one with Fred Hartwell. Absolutely. So
Great.
yeah, so we are going to be talking PV, and is it energy sources or energy storage?
Energy storage is what I intend to talk about.
That's right.
Although I probably will touch briefly. I only have 2 hours, so I don't have a lot of time to go over all of the requirements, but
Yep.
I will touch briefly on other on-site power production, because that's, as you know, when you've been leading a task group,
Yeah.
looking at all of those different power sources where do we go in the future with all of those, which is a very important function that you've been serving on that task
Well,
group.
I'll tell you what, Jim. Here's another opportunity. I mean, we can even get some evening sessions or whatever, but we should be talking about some of the stuff that's coming down the pike, because I know there's a couple things. We've got a team working on the PV stuff for your code making panel, and you're gonna they're gonna see a lot of public inputs that they're looking at moving things around and trying to organize things better, try to add some clarity. But the other actions, NFPA 99 is recognizing these alternative energy sources as backup power for healthcare type of environments.
Yep.
NFPA 110, I sit on 110 and 111, and we just got through a cycle of adding energy storage, your other than the generators, because 110 and 111 historically has been backup generation. And because of what NFPA 99 is doing, energy storage is now going to play a role in NFPA 110 and 111. So this is the tip of the iceberg from what I can see coming down the pike.
Well, yeah, I agree, Tom, and I've said for years, and a lot of people have not agreed with me, but I think, especially with energy storage, that the alternative energy sources could easily fit into Article 700, 701, 702, depending upon their reliability. So, and all that needs to be looked at. So you're absolutely correct.
One of the things that the task group decided to do that we made public inputs on, we took 705 and we combined that with 710 and 712, I think it is, to create a general requirements article for these alternative sources. What I love is Bill Brooks and those guys. They don't like the alternative energy nomenclature or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't like that. You're right.
I know. You know what he likes? He likes the advanced energy.
Yeah.
I loved it. So we were called, in fact, Larry Ayer asked me, he goes, I was sending some notes out, and I sent him an update, and I said, well, Larry, the advanced energy group. And he's like, whoa, what's the advanced? I thought you guys were the alternative energy group. I'm like, nope, we voted on it, and we agree we are all now called the advanced energy task group. So it worked out good. We got Steve Froming out on YouTube. He says it's nice, sunny day to discuss PV. Absolutely. Yes. Thanks for joining in, Steve. And Steve is out of our Western section, so we've been doing a lot of work over there as well. So what I'm loving about these this time of year is we may not be in person, and as well as I do, Jim, that next year it's not like we're replacing the Eastern section with an online experience forever. We're doing this because of COVID, and I would hope that the Eastern section, with your leadership and others, your education chair, et cetera, would start to try to do even as we move forward, to get more educational stuff out there online and still have those in-person meetings.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because even as you know, Tom, because you've been to many of them,
Yeah.
when you go to an Eastern Section meeting or any section meeting, there's not enough hours to get all the information out there. So having an on-site section meeting and then followed up by online further information is the best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we had that discussion too. It's supplements. So you could sit down and you could take someone like your program, which is going to be 2 hours, like you said, PV and energy and energy storage, not sources, PV and energy storage, and say that you can do 2 hours, but there's so much more material. But you could create other materials that are available to IAEI members, Eastern Section members, to come out to the YouTube website and view that additional in-depth, because who better to hear it than from the chair of Codemaking Panel 4, who's knee-deep in all of this stuff that's going on in anything alternative energy or advanced energy solutions.
Yep.
I love it. Cool beans. Well, I have the link to register for the Eastern Section meeting down below. That's live. I know we've been communicating about that, but I just threw the link down there, Jim, to get people to register, because we got to get that out there. It's coming up at the end of the dates are September 30th. We have the morning session is Chapter 4 Highlights of Changes with Jeff Simpson. From 2 to 4, we have Grounding and Bonding Concepts, Establishing a Reliable Ground Fault Current Path with Paul Dabrowski and Joe Andre. On October 1st, we have our 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. wire selection to meet every code connection with Fred Hartwell. That's going to be a good one. And then 2 to 4, we have EVSE, Electric Vehicle Power Transfer Systems, and that's going to be Jack Lyons, our NEMA Field Rep program. And then the last day is October 2nd, 10 to 12, PV installations and energy storage with none other than Mr. Jim Rogers. And then 2 to 4, Ask the Inspector. And you know what? Michael put it, or somebody sent it to me in all caps, Ask the Inspector. Is that because inspectors yell at each other?
No.
No, absolutely not. But I left it in all caps, because then that should be a good one. You know, Michael does a great job as well. Total 12 CEU credits for those 3 days. So it's 2 hours apiece, 3 days. That's 12 CEU credits, and those are IAEI CEU credits. So most states, most jurisdictions will accept that, but always check with you can check with the individual education chairs out of each of the chapters, right, to find out if there's any complicated. I don't know. I know the Western section had a couple states that were a little different. Like Ohio, we had to do something a little different for. But do you have that same issue in the Eastern section with recognition of CEU credits?
Well, we're working on the CEU credits. I think we're going to be able to accomplish it.
Oh yeah.
Mark Hilbert who's our education chair, is working on that with Keith, and so
yeah. And Keith Laughlin and the IO down in Texas have been very accommodating and understanding with the whole COVID situation, and it was really sad to see the section meetings not meet in person, but I can see your lovely face, and we can hear your knowledge, and we're gonna, and you know what, the other benefit of this is these are captured and they will be online. Now, granted, those URLs are hidden and they will be available to IEI members and people who've paid for the programs and things of that nature, but it's captured in time, and we'll be able to share that in the future.
Yep.
So awesome.
All right.
Any last words, Jim? Any parting words for the viewers?
Well, yeah, please take advantage of both the Western section and the Eastern section. The programs are different but similar, and there's a lot of information to be gained. And I know the Southwestern section, they might be done. I know they were meeting earlier this week. I'm not 100% sure if they're done or not, but they also had an online meeting, and I gathered it was very successful from what I heard. So
Well, that's awesome.
look forward to everyone joining in. And again, I want to thank you, Tom, and thank Eaton for the assistance you've given to IAEI.
Not a problem. Pleasure. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for taking time. I know you're a busy guy. So everybody out there on YouTube, again, sorry for the silent start. But I'll try to crop that out in the beginning once we post this. So, or it's actually posted, but I'll edit it. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe and please stay healthy, and subscribe down below to the YouTube channel as well, to the Eastern Section YouTube channel. And don't forget to register. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks. I'm going to stop streaming, Jim. Hold on.